A report submitted by the Finance Minister in Rajya Sabha has recently stated that 5,892 cases were taken up by the Enforcement Directorate under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002 since 2015. However, only 15 convictions have been secured so far. So this raises multiple questions, and today we are going to deal with all these questions one by one. Hello everyone, my name is Jahidul. I am a faculty member at Lukmaan IAS, and now we are going to look into a very important topic, which is how should money laundering be tackled. So to understand this particular issue, we will also understand what is money laundering, like under which act is money laundering defined and how is money laundered, right? We will also understand about what is laundromat. So a lot of things are there to understand today. So what is the context? As I discussed recently that 5,892 cases were taken up by the Enforcement Directorate under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. Since 2015 means like since 2015 these many cases were taken up by the ED. However, only 15 convictions have happened so far. I mean like out of nearly 6,000 cases only 15 convictions has happened. Okay, so now this raises a very important question, is that is the government doing its work efficiently in, let's say in tackling the money laundering related cases or not? And then there is important thing which is enforcement case information report. What is this? This is basically a report that is filed to basically initiate a proceeding under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So when we talk about what are the main issues, one of the main issue is the number of convictions vis-a-vis total cases is very less. I mean like only 15 cases have been convicted out of nearly 6,000 cases. So this raises, I mean like an important question that the convictions are unsatisfactory. And second important thing is like money laundering cases are increasing. So is the government functioning efficiently when tackling the money laundering or financial crime related things? So that's an important thing for us to discuss. Apart from this, what is a laundromat? So we will understand what do we mean by a laundromat. Basically, laundromat is a kind of syndicate. It's an organized crime syndicate, which is sometimes, let's say which is sometimes orchestrated by the banks also, or any other financial company for that matter. So this laundromat is an all-purpose financial vehicle that is utilized by people, right, in an organized way to launder money. Okay, and also a laundromat helps in laundering the proceeds of crime, hide the ownership of assets, evade taxes or currency restrictions, and move money offshore. So this is the work of the laundromat. So laundromat can be a bank, it can be a financial institution. It helps people in laundering money. So it follows different procedures, and we will understand what do we mean by money laundering. What is the definition of money laundering? Basically, money laundering is defined under the Section 3 of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. And that particular section says that money laundering is an act of evasion of taxes, is an act of siphoning off, let's say, financial assets, and it is an act, to secure or evade or conceal the financial assets which are proceeds of a crime. So this is defined under Section 3 of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Apart from this, we are also going to understand how is money laundered. Okay, so what is the process that people follow to launder their money? So it has 3 stages basically. So there are 3 stages associated with laundering of money. The first stage is known as smurfing. Second stage is known as layering. Third stage is known as integration. Okay, so what do we mean by smurfing? So basically in smurfing, 2 things happen. Number 1, introducing money into the financial system. Right? So let's consider someone has proceeds of crime, someone has, let's say, unaccounted money, right? someone has huge sum of money, okay, so that huge sum of money is introduced into the financial system. How it is done? It is done by a bank or a financial sector company, right? And what they do, they break up the large sums of money into smaller pieces, and they kind of, you know, invest, or they introduce into the financial system. So initially they introduce the money into the financial system by breaking up large amounts of cash into smaller sums. So this stage is known as smurfing. The second stage is known as layering. What do we mean by layering? Layering is the process of shifting of money, okay? So money is shifted into other locations in the form of investments and transactions, okay? Then the third stage is integration. So in the third stage, what happens? Money is brought back into the financial system through real estate, business, or any other form, okay? So initially, I mean, like, you know, these three stages, initially, like, you know, the money is introduced into the financial system somehow, and then in the second stage it is sent offshore. In the third stage it is brought back, let's say, like, you know, it is brought back in the form of investment into the real estate or business. That's the thing. So these are the three stages that people follow to launder money. Now the thing is, like, what are the notable cases or important cases? Although there are huge number of cases, but like I'm going to discuss only few cases. One of the cases, P. Chidambaram versus Enforcement Directorate of 2019. Okay, so this is one of the case where Supreme Court of India has given kind of, you know, an observation that money laundering actually, let's say, like, you know, helps people, right, who are laundering the money to siphon up taxes, and it actually, let's say, hampers the unity and integrity of the country. That's the observation of the Supreme Court. And in the second case, it is Birbhadra Singh versus Enforcement Directorate. So in this case also, Supreme Court of India has made certain observations. We are going to discuss about that also. Okay, so before we go ahead, now let us discuss about what about PMLA, means like what does the Prevention of Money Laundering Act do? I mean, like, how this act helps the enforcement agencies to kind of, you know, restrict any financial crimes. So basically this Prevention of Money Laundering Act has been enacted in India in line with the UN Political Declaration and Global Program of Action, which was adopted in the United Nations General Assembly in 1990. All right. And under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, the burden of proof lies on the accused. Let's consider the Enforcement Directorate says that you are an accused in the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So it will be your responsibility to prove that, like, you are not involved in the financial crime. Okay, that's the thing. And then ECIR, Enforcement Case Information Report, that I said, is sufficient to initiate proceedings. Let's consider if the authorities file an ECIR case against you, so that case itself will be sufficient to initiate proceedings against you. Okay, that's the thing. So what are the issues to be addressed? What are the issues of in the Prevention of Money Laundering Act? Basically there are many issues, and this Prevention of Money Laundering Act can be misused also by the authorities. Okay, so one notable case related to that is Vijay Madan Lal Chaudhary versus Union of India. Right, in this case what has happened, basically the court has observed, the Supreme Court has observed three things. Number one, that, like, if you want to proceed against someone related to, I mean, like, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, you have to kind of file a scheduled case. You need to file a case against him. After you file a case, right, then if you want to attach his property, you do not, let's say, you do not need to initiate any other proceedings. You do not need to file any FIR also. That's the thing. And this particular provision is being misused by the authorities from time to time. So what is the way forward? Number one thing is that authorities should follow the Financial Action Task Force recommendations, right? And apart from this, like, Government of India has signed double tax avoidance agreement with 85 plus countries. With more than 85 countries, the Government of India has already signed double tax avoidance agreement, and this helps the Government of India to kind of keep a track of the financial transactions that people are doing with other countries. Okay, this helps in kind of identifying the money laundering related thing. But the thing is, like, things are not going in the right direction related to double tax avoidance agreement. So we need to set the things in the right direction related to double tax avoidance agreement also. So that's all in this article from my side. Thank you so much everyone for watching this video. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.